we're going to go into it now. Massive game this weekend. Arsenal hosting Manchester City. Lewis, you're away from home. So we're going to go to you and Nobbins first on this. How are you feeling about the game? 2 defeats in your last 3 matches. No Rodri. Some Arsenal fans getting a little bit excited online. Are there any nerves in the Chelsea camp amongst the fans? Or do you feel pretty confident it's going to be business as usual at the Emirates Stadium?
I don't know about Chelsea fans, bro, but City fans, I think there's a little bit of, I don't know, a bit weird.
Because obviously... Chelsea, sorry, City fans. Sorry, my apologies. Slip of the tongue. Sorry, mate.
It's cool, man. It's I think obviously when you're missing John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, 3 key players, there are some nerves, obviously. But listen, I think the pressure's all on Arsenal. I think the pressure's all on Arsenal. I really, really do. You know, I think they're the ones that need to win. I think if they don't beat us, I don't think that particularly looks great for them in their hopes to win the title. They've got a shocking record against us in the Premier League. And yeah, I think it's time for Arsenal to show the world just how good they are. You know what I mean? Everyone knows how good City are. Won the treble last year. You know, they bottled the league last year. They bottled the top 4 before that. We smashed them at our place last year. Humiliated them, actually, at the Etihad Stadium. Humiliation. And if they want to win the league this year, they need to put out a statement. They need to put out a statement to the world on Sunday that they are serious. And I think it's all on them. I think City get in there, take a point. Is what it is. We've got a weak squad. We'll take that. We'll still be above them. It's on Arsenal. The pressure's all on Arsenal.
And Arsenal won't have a better opportunity to there won't be a better opportunity to beat City, to be honest. Lewis has touched it then. There is no Rodri. There's not going to be any Stones. Bernardo Silva's just come back. There's obviously no Kevin De Bruyne. Arsenal are at home. If you are going to beat City in a title race, now is the time to strike while the iron is hot, because City, not in a weak state, but they're in a weakened state. If you look at all the past seasons under Guardiola with title races, 2 Liverpools, the 1 Arsenal, none of those sides beat us in the title race. And that was a main factor in why none of those sides did win it.
Isn't Stones fit? I saw was this guy training?
Yeah, but he's not playing.
He's training, but he's not
going to play.
Pep's already confirmed he's not. He's not going to be playing. The main one obviously is no Rodri. Look at our midfield from last season. None of that box 4 are going to be featuring on Sunday. No Stones, no Gundogan, no De Bruyne, no Rodri. So I appreciate Arsenal have their own injury concerns, which I'm sure Igal and Rory will touch on. But again, Arsenal will not have a better opportunity. And if they can beat City, it's a massive statement for them. Obviously, haven't beaten us in the league in 8 years or something ridiculous. Since like 2015, I believe. Yeah, yep. Exactly. And if a draw wouldn't be terrible for them, but I think a loss for Arsenal would be ridiculously detrimental, because again, it's just sort of, me and Lewis were talking about this on his channel yesterday. I believe Arsenal have a bit of an inferiority complex when it comes to Man City. And if they lose again against Man City, then I think it's obviously really early days. You can never write them off entirely, but I think that would basically just be the nail in the coffin for them in this title race, to be honest, because that would just, in their heads, just further evidence the idea that they probably don't believe in themselves, and they probably don't think they are good enough to take on City if they lose again.
Rory, you want to go?
Yeah, I don't massively buy into the idea that we have to win, otherwise it's like season and title race over. I think last season proved that it's a long season and things can happen. It is a good chance for us to win the game, definitely. Obviously, without Rodri, without De Bruyne. I'm still not convinced that John Stones won't play. I know Pep Guardiola said, he's not going to play, but we've seen that story before. And Arsenal do have our own, obviously, concerns. I don't think Saka's going to play, and we don't have Martinelli either, so we haven't got either of our starting wingers. And I actually think the big one that we're missing is Martinelli. I think that raw pace we're going to miss, and I will be interested to see whether we play Thomas Partey. I think our best midfield is Partey, Rice and Ødegaard. If we see that against a weakened City midfield, I think we can win the game. But I don't buy into the idea that it's the be-all and end-all.
But you got to win at some point, lad. You know what I mean? It's 8 years since you've beaten us. Like, you want to win this league, you got to be like showing that you can win it. You're at home at the Emirates. Do you know what I mean? You've got to take us on. Well, this is the weakest we're going to probably be all season. Surely this is the time for Arsenal. put out a statement. Surely this is the time.
Well, hopefully, yeah. But I mean, this is part of the reason I think City have it's one of the reasons I think City have ruined football. This is one of the biggest games of the season, and City fans are going into it like, yeah, maybe we'll get a draw. Don't really care. Doesn't matter. We'll still win the league. Like, there's no.
I say that because you guys haven't done the right thing, not because of us. I say that because you've made the wrong decisions in your transfer. It's not my fault your club signed Kai Havertz for 65 million quid.
It's the same way when how we felt going into the Tottenham game. Basically, because they've been able to beat us so many times. By the way, the record is actually 12 games in a row in the league. We've only scored 5 goals. They scored 33. So I understand why they're confident. I understand why sometimes their confidence can come off as arrogance. I get it. Because you want to know something? City are the team to beat. Even though they have all these injuries, they're still the favorites. They're coming to our house, and people still consider them the favorites. This game is going to come down to one thing for me. Every time we play City, every time we play any team that's up on the top half of the table, the midfield battle is where the game's won. And this game right here, I think we're going to have the advantage in the midfield. Because they have Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne, they're 2 best midfielders out. Pep Guardiola is going to have to find a solution, but we're going to have potentially Thomas Partey back. Declan Rice already that we signed for 100 million in that midfield, of course. And I think Martin Odegaard is going to be the biggest match winner for us on the day, especially with Martinelli and Bukayo Saka both gone.
So are you confident that Arteta is going to play that midfield though?
I hope he does. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think any Arsenal fan or City fan knows what the lineup is going to be specifically because of the injuries. But if I was to guess, he would go with.
I don't think Arteta's using left in the mid. I can't lie.
Let me land. If I was to guess, I think because we played them in the Community Shield and he went with a similar midfield, he might do that this time. And in that game, he also went with Kai Havertz up top. And because Saka's injured, I think he might do that this time. So the way I'm thinking he's going to set up with the front 3 of Kai Havertz, Jesus on the right, and Trossard, or maybe even Reece Nelson. But I think Trossard is going to start. And the midfield 3, I think, is going to be Partey, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. And I trust that defense and that midfield. The thing that I don't trust is the attack to score the goals. And you want to know something? That's been the issue all season. So even with Martinelli and Saka gone, this game is going to come down to which midfield can win the game. And if Arsenal get an opportunity, can we be clinical? Because we know City, on the other hand, they have Erling Haaland, who all he needs is a half chance, and especially Julian Alvarez. So, hey, I'm just going to say...
Just on that, Agal, I don't think that's right about the midfield battle, because last season at the Emirates, you won the midfield battle, but Pep didn't care.
You gave us the ball.
So yeah, you won the midfield battle, and partly because Pep wanted you to do that. What did we do? We just played it long to Haaland. So I don't think I agree that it's going to be all about the midfield. It wouldn't surprise me if City play the exact same way. We just long pass up to Haaland, and instead of De Bruyne being the runner, it's Alvarez or it's Foden. So I think that Arsenal have the advantage in the midfield battle, but I don't think that's actually what the story of the game's going to be, to be honest.
But looking back at the Tottenham game and looking back at the Manchester United game, we kind of gave those two teams the opportunity to play with the ball and to hold on to it. And we tried to win the ball high up the pitch and force them to make errors. So now you're going to potentially be playing Kovacic and Calvin Phillips. I think that's who we're going to be trying to attack to try to get the ball off.
No, Calvin Phillips ain't
it won't be Phillips,
bro.
You don't think Phillips is going to play?
Phillips will not be seeing the light of day at the Emirates. No
okay,
chance.
So who's going to play in the midfield?
Don't know, mate. It might be Kovacic Nunes. It might be Luis Nunes. It might be some other combination they're in. Bernardo.
Either way, it's not Rodri. And Rodri's the most tidy player on the ball in probably world football. So if we have an opportunity to win the game and to capitalize on your mistakes, it's going to come from Mateus Nunes in the midfield losing the ball, or what do you call it, Kovacic losing the ball. And I'm not saying they're bad footballers. I'm just merely saying that's going to have to be our tactic. We're going to have to press your midfield.
So that's how you think you should play. That's quite risky, though. So you're relying on being passive and you're hoping City make mistakes in the midfield. Is that right?
We did that against Tottenham and Manchester United. We gave them a lot of the ball in their own end, and we tried to win the ball. If you look at the actual tactics against Manchester United and Tottenham, we gave them a lot of the ball. We were not the team holding on to it.
It works against United because United have a lot of midfield issues.
Yeah, let me ask a question on that, though. Man United were a hair's breadth away from beating you with that tactic, and Spurs drew with you. If you look at performances across both those two games, would you and Roy, would you be happy with that approach to let City have the ball and trying to counter on them? Do you think that is considering how much better they are at attacking compared to Man United and Spurs?
You want to take
No.
this, Ryan?
I don't think we've got the pace to do that anyway. I don't think we'll play that way at all. I think what we might actually probably see, and just going back to what you said, I didn't particularly like the way we played against Spurs, especially. But I think we might see Kai Havertz up top. He played up top in the Community Shield, and I think I've got a feeling we could end up with Jesus off the left, hopefully Saka off the right if he does play, and then Kai Havertz up top, and then we can see the midfield that we talked about as well.
Would you risk Saka?
Would I risk Saka?
Yeah, if he's not
Yeah.
100%, because
Yeah.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I will be fuming if we don't play him and then he goes and plays for England.
But
That'd be
the
an
thing
absolute
is,
joke.
I get why you guys want Saka to play. He's one of your key players, but let's not act like Saka's ever really done anything against Man City anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Ake locked him up last season, like what, in two separate competitions. So let's not act like Saka's been this guy that's like turned up against Man City every season, because he really hasn't.
Don,
He
I don't
really
think
hasn't.
anyone did do that, but he's turned up more than Reece Nelson or any of our other options have.
Yeah, but Nelson's
So-
done well off the bench though. Even last season, I was saying, why isn't Nelson getting the game time? Eventually, he went and got a contract. I'm someone that when Nelson, Smith Rowe, and Saka were coming through, I didn't really rate Nelson, because Nelson, to me, he used to get barged off the ball. You know, he wasn't as safe with it. He just wasn't looking good. But now he's actually looking really good. Like, he can beat his man. He gives a little bit of a different dynamic, because Saka, he inverts a lot. What Nelson likes to do, he likes to stay wide. Do you know what I mean? And keep the pitch quite open and quite wide. Do you know what I mean? So he could be a different headache for Man City that they've never actually faced against Arsenal. To be honest with you, like Martinelli on the other side is more. He drives at his man a lot more than Saka, in all honesty. And if you start Nelson, I don't see it as, obviously Saka's Saka, right? But Nelson can do a little something, man, because he's been playing well. He's been playing well.
Yeah, but there's a difference between Bukayo Saka, who is tried and tested, and he has played well against City. It's just it's Man City. We don't score many goals against them like no one does. But there's a big difference between Saka and Reece Nelson, who might do a little something, who normally comes on off the bench and plays off the left-hand side. Like, this is our biggest game of the season, probably. So,
And this is Man City at the moment. At this, I went and looked at every single game that Man City played while you guys are talking. This is probably the toughest test for Man City this year, especially without Rodri. The thing about Manchester City, they don't have to win every game, because they win against the Menos most of the time, most of the games. Like that Wolves game's one-off. But I think this also is a test for Man City, especially for the new guys, for the Dokus, for the Nunes, for the Kovacic has experience, but also in the new system. Gvardiol is still there. That's his first game at the Emirates. It's a big game for him as well. I think Man City, the players will be nervous as well. I believe that truly. Yes, Pep Guardiola has more experience, but I believe Man City players will be nervous. They would want to impress, because they know Kevin De Bruyne is not there. They know Rodri is not there. They know Stones is not there. That these players are big players with experience. I would pick Arsenal to win the game. I would put my money. I think Arsenal
Who
are
would be
favourites
nervous
to win
or
the game.
more? What City players would be nervous?
It's not Doku will be nervous.
Doku won't play.
Matthias
man.
Nunes will be nervous. Gvardiol will be nervous. This notion that players don't get nervous because they play for Man City, we have seen it before. These are not the Gundogans. Kevin De Bruyne isn't there. John Stones isn't there, right? You don't have experience in the mid in that on that pitch, apart from the defense, other than Kovacic. And we have seen when they play against.
Oh, there's
Rome,
no
yes,
experience.
it's
Oh, there's no
Bernardo will
experience.
probably.
I don't think
Bernardo will play in the middle.
I don't think Foden is experienced enough to calm things down if they go on 1-0 down or something.
But he won't play
I
in the
believe
middle. He
if
won't play in the
Arsenal,
middle.
but that's the whole point. Bernardo's there. Is it Bernardo's going to stop? Bernardo's experience as well a little bit. But my point is, Man City in tough times, they lean into the experience, like the Gundogan, even the Real Madrid coming off the bench last year. I believe that Man City is the best team in the world for sure. But this is Arsenal Football Club that has been playing good last year, has been playing good this year. Some games getting only the results. Hold on, some games only getting the results, and some games actually controlling the games. And you're going to the Emirates. The stadium is going to be buzzing. You're telling me that young players aren't going to be nervous? Let me tell you.
No.
something.
You didn't say young players. You just said Manchester City. I'm saying Kovacic.
No. I actually named players that I think will get nervous,
I
and I
told
named
you.
young players only.
Doku won't play. Foden will be out on the right hand side. So who else are you talking about?
So I said the names I said: Matthias Nunes, I said Gvardiol, I said Doku. These are the three players I mentioned. These are young players, aren't they? I didn't say anybody else. And I said there are not enough experience on the pitch. I said there are not enough experience on the pitch to pick them up if they go 1-0 down or something. Man City last year were full of experience and full of composure on the pitch, and credit to them for that. In tough times, these players turned up. The older players, the De Bruynes, the Gundogans, the Mahrezes, even the Bernards, they turned up big time. John Stones. We're forgetting that these players are not there. I get the notion of like, yeah, this Man City is an amazing team and everything.
But Mo,
Arsenal are getting
would you say
results.
would you argue that Arsenal this
talking
season
about
have actually
Sheffield,
looked? Would you say that Arsenal have actually looked a lot better away from home this season than they have at home? So
Well, I can put it this way.
wait, let me land my point, bro. Because what you're saying about what do you call it? Man City players can be nervous, yeah. I think they've got a different type of mentality to the Arsenal players. I can flip it and say the Arsenal players can be nervous as well because they're missing a lot of players. They're missing quite a lot of.
I could tell you something.